Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals. Created by Bitter Corella.
So, who's telling the story tonight? Howard?
I've not got much written lately. Not been myself.
Must be nice.
Do you want to do a story, Mary?
Can't be asked.
Clive?
I've been working on something about a sexy murderer who murders sexy people on a sexy train.
Oh boy, a train? You want to do a collab?
I just feel like mocking other people's work tonight.
I've got a story about a skeleton, and the skeleton eats people.
Sure. Go ahead, Dean.
So, there's this, skeleton called, anyway, the important thing about this skeleton is that it eats, people. And, the end.
Very good, Dean. Boy, that just gave me chills. Don't you agree, guys?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Really terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Really terrifying.
Clive.
What? I literally said the same thing.
Oh, excuse me.
Arthur Conan Doyle, how's it going?
It's Sherlock Holmes.
No, Dean, he just writes Sherlock Holmes.
I don't write Sherlock Holmes anymore.
You do look kind of like Sherlock Holmes, Arthur. What with the magnifying glass?
Probably hunting for fairies.
Clive.
I didn't say anything. I wouldn't use that word.
You were going to reclaim it.
Oh, I got way better words I'm reclaiming.
You know what? We don't need to talk about this.
I am not looking for fairies. It's too late in the year to find them at this latitude. I'm looking for clues.
He is Sherlock Holmes.
No, I'm just on my way to the Mystery Story Club campfire.
There's a mystery story club?
Yes. Raymond Chandler, Ian Fleming, Agatha Christie. Steve's been along. Edgar's been along.
Really?
Well, sure. Once in a while.
Sometimes you feel like a change, you know?
Ooh, I have to know about this. What's it called?
The Bloodhound Gang.
Oh my god, you nerds.
You know, I write about detectives sometimes.
Yeah, but they don't actually detect anything, do they? Just explore a creepy tunnel for 3 hours and then get ate by a squid.
Where do you guys meet?
Ah, that's the thing. We've no fixed location. When someone calls a meeting, they leave a trail of clues for the others to find them.
You fucking nerds.
But I'm stuck on the second clue.
I like mysteries. I bet if we put our heads together, we
No,
could...
no, it's far too difficult. I'm just going to give up and go home. Maybe check under some toadstools, see if there's any speckled Tinkerbells that haven't migrated yet.
Why don't you stay and tell us a story, Arthur?
My stories aren't exactly horror.
No, but there's still, like, you know, genre.
What does genre even mean anymore?
I know. It means, like, what kind of story is it? Like horror, or cowboys, or cowboys with dogs, or dogs with spaceships, or dogs
Well,
with...
that's the original meaning, yes, but nowadays we professional writers also use the term genre to define a certain area of popular fiction defined by, genre.
What?
Genre's complicated, Dean. You'll figure it out as you explore.
I sometimes try other genres. I use other names.
You know what, Dean? That's healthy. Good on you.
Well, if you ask me,
No one did.
there are only two genres. Cosmic horror and dangerous left-wing ideology.
Come on, Arthur. Tell us a story.
Well, Raymond is doing the tale of the hard-boiled detective and the untrustworthy dame tonight. Again. So I suppose I could be tempted to stay and rattle off a story about a certain brash but brilliant investigator.
Oh boy!
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of Professor Challenger.
What? I thought you were gonna tell Sherlock Holmes. I wanted Sherlock Holmes!
Yeah, Arthur, we all wanted Sherlock Holmes.
You guys should give Professor Challenger a shot. Oh, I bet you'll like him. He's a scientist.
Nobody likes Professor Challenger.
But I'm sick of Sherlock Holmes. You don't know what it's like. Everywhere I go, I'm the Sherlock Holmes guy. He gets more letters in the mail than I do.
Oh, did he get my letters?
I'm done with him. That's why he died in the final problem.
Sherlock died?
No. It's okay, Dean. It's okay. He got better. Yeah, it turned out he just faked his death for, detective stuff.
Only because my publisher threatened to chuck me off the fourth bridge.
Sherlock Holmes! Sherlock Holmes!
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock
Holmes.
Sherlock
Holmes.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of Sherlock fucking Holmes.
Wow.
And his final, last ever case. For real this time. I really mean it.
You watch, Watson. I'm going to solve this case. And what's more, I can do it zonked on cocaine. Because that's how good I am.
Whatever you say, Holmes.
Shut up, Watson. You're rubbish.
Yes, Holmes.
To work! According to Inspector Lestrade's telegram, which I
have it here, Holmes.
No wonder I couldn't find it. What does it say?
It seems, the police have the matter mostly in hand, but we've been asked to visit the crime scene in case we might be able to help out with a few details.
What details?
It says, who did it?
Ha, fine. To discover the truth, one only needs to eliminate the implausible... What are the facts of the case?
Most puzzling. The Duke of Corstorphine was found murdered in this room.
Oh, that must be him.
Your powers of observation never cease to astonish me, Holmes.
Watson, examine the body and determine the cause of death.
I'd say it was the large knife sticking out of his back. Oh, and the room was locked from the inside. The maid had to break the door down to bring him his afternoon tea. That's when she found him, just as he lies now, face down, his lifeless limbs hanging over the edge of the chaise longue like battered sausages.
You can leave the bad atmospheric writing for when you scribble it up in the Strand, for the benefit of multitudes of adoring fans. My fans, not yours.
You know, I used to think this was normal. I used to think everyone treated everyone the way you treat me.
Oh, here we go.
Then I met Mary.
Watson, not now. We've got a case.
Just a few years of married life taught me that it was possible to be in a relationship defined by mutual love and respect instead of power and abuse. And then you died, and after the shock, I thought, maybe I can be happy.
Watson.
Maybe I deserve to be happy.
Case.
I actually believed that.
The Duke of something.
Then Mary died, and you came back saying you'd faked the whole thing, and I'm back in Baker Street packing your pipe, and you're talking to me like a left-handed office boy, and it's as though I've woken up to find those 3 whole years...
Wait, Dr. Watson had a wife?
Yes, Mary Morstan.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah, honestly, he never struck me as the marrying kind. Not before 2014 or so, anyway.
Now, I'm pretty sure that I'd remember a wife. I'm going to look this up on Project Gutenberg.
I thought Watson and Sherlock were married to each other.
No, you're all wrong. Watson's gay for Holmes, but it's unrequited. Right, Arthur?
That's open to interpretation.
No, Watson had a wife. He got married at the end of the Sign of the Four, which proves that he and Holmes are completely heterosexual.
Oh, cool. So he catches a case of the straights, huh? Seems like a lot of poor bastards come down with that right at the end of a book. Nasty.
Doyle, Arthur, Conan, Sign of the Four. Got it. At the end... here it is. They've solved the case, and Watson says...
And there is the end of our little drama. I fear that it may be the last investigation in which I shall have the chance of studying your methods. Miss Morstan has done me the honor of accepting me as a husband in prospective.
Holmes gave a dismal groan. Oh, Sherlock's not happy about that.
I feared as much. I really cannot congratulate you. Love is an emotional thing. And whatever is emotional is opposed to that true cold reason which I place above all things.
Dick.
I trust my reason may survive the ordeal. But you look weary.
Yes, the reaction is already upon me. I should be limp as a rag for a week.
What?
Arthur, there's so much subtext in these stories. I'm surprised the pages don't stick together.
Hey, I got a question. This Mary Morstan, why'd she die?
Well, when I decided to kill off Holmes, it was meant to be a sort of bittersweet ending for Watson. But then when I had to do the reboot, I needed the dynamic back. You know, Holmes and Watson as roomies. They get on each other's nerves, but true friends where it matters.
Like Bert and Ernie.
Yes. And again, also like Bert and Ernie, completely heterosexual.
But that's only the Doyleist explanation.
What?
Like, that's the real-life reason you killed off Watson's wife. But how and why in the world of the story did she meet her death? Now that would be the Watsonian explanation.
Oh my god, I can't deal with these hardcore fans. I don't care. Fell down a mineshaft, yachting accident, walking through Piccadilly Circus when a piano fell on her head. Point is, she's dead.
But Arthur, haven't you heard of the literary agent hypothesis?
Oh, I love the literary agent
Oh,
hypothesis.
Jesus Christ, what is this now?
Oh, hang on, Arthur. You're gonna love this. It's just great.
Such a bunch of nerds.
So, what's the literally aging hippopotamus?
Well, it's sort of a game that we Sherlockians like to play. We start by first supposing Sherlock Holmes was real.
Sherlock Holmes real? Wow.
And Arthur Conan Doyle here didn't write the stories at all. He was just Dr. Watson's literary agent.
Dr. Watson doesn't exist.
Or is that just what you want us to think?
Yes,
In
because...
fact, maybe Dr. Watson, in fact, does exist.
No.
So Arthur here just pretended that he wrote the stories himself and only changed the names to protect the innocent.
What?
Wow. Is that all for real?
Well, Dean, Stephen raises some good points. Let's look at the facts. Dr. Watson's first name is John H. Watson. But in The Man with the Twisted Lip, his wife calls him James. Now, a Doyleist would say...
Look, I just forgot what his first name is. I was on a deadline. It happens.
Exactly. But a Watsonian would say...
She's got a side piece named James.
Well, that's one possible explanation. Or maybe we could just go with the simpler, more likely explanation, which is that the H in John H. Watson stands for Hamish, which is Scots for James.
You've gotta be fucking kidding me.
That is the most popular fan theory.
Right, because calling your boyfriend by his middle name in another language is totally a thing.
No, she's right, guys. Mrs. Watson is 100% definitely fucking some guy named James.
Are there any Jameses in the Sherlock Holmes stories?
Well, there's... Oh my god.
What?
Steve, you don't think...
Oh my God.
What?
Mary, you could be onto something.
To discover the truth, we need only eliminate the impossible.
You know, I've never been sure about that.
What?
Firstly, it's simply wrong. If you eliminate the impossible, you're not left with the truth. You're left with the possible. Secondly, the sheer number of impossible things makes it downright inefficient.
Shut up, Watson. The Duke was stabbed in the back, so suicide is impossible. The room was locked from the inside, therefore it is impossible for the killer to have left through the door. The window does not open, and the glass has not been replaced. There only remains the fireplace. Yes, there's your killer's escape route. Watson, take a look up the chimney, would you?
Why don't you take a look up the chimney?
I don't want to get coal on my deer stalker. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to get soot out of Harris Tweed?
Yes, because I'm the one who's always crawling in fireplaces. Oh, all right. What am I supposed to be looking for?
You know my methods? Apply them.
Well, the brickwork has been scraped here, just as though somebody has climbed up recently, but it wasn't the sweep, because I'm getting eyefuls of soot just looking. In fact, ow! Careful! A tile fell on my face. I think there's someone up there.
Keep quiet. I am. You keep still.
Come down in the name of private consultants hired by the law.
It's all right, Doctor. It's Santa Claus.
And his elf.
It isn't even Christmas. Get down here or I shall light a fire in the grate and cook you out.
I think I'm gonna... Wow. That was a long way down. The thing that Watson here broke our fall.
Aha! A brace of murderers, if ever I saw one.
Oh, we're not murderers. We're here to help.
Shut it, Murderface. Watson, do you still have the handcuffs from this morning?
No, we're not...
Hey! Wow. There's only one pair. I'll have to share.
Said Watson, wrestling the miscreants to the wall.
Let us go!
What are you two doing? You can't just mess about in my story.
Well, sure we can. Try to copyright, isn't it?
Who are you talking to?
I think so. As long as we don't use anything from recent adaptations.
Oh, you're not being played by that bendy but scrumple's own name change for legal reasons, are you, Sherlock?
Excuse me?
And Watson here does look a bit like Martin Freeman.
Yeah, but Martin Freeman looks like every white guy. He's like if Bread was an actor. That's why he always plays audience surrogates.
Quiet. You're both under citizen's arrest. Watson, I saw a bicycle outside.
Oh!
Go and fetch Inspector Lestrade.
A real Victorian bicycle? Like a penny farthing? I'd love to see that.
Get out of my story.
Actually, we're in a bit of a pickle, Arthur. Could you give us a hand down here?
Balls.
What the devil? Who's this one?
That's Mr. Arthur Conan Doyle. He's my literary agent.
No, I'm not.
He's not? Then he must be in league with these murderers we've apprehended. They were up the same chimney after all. You lot picked the wrong peer of the realm to skewer, the wrong Queen Anne chaise longue to ruin. You'll be lucky if the judge only sends you to the gallows.
Arthur.
It's all right. I'm Dr. Watson's literary agent. They're with me.
Where'd they go?
Looks like they went and did some weird metafictional fourth wall shit. They're inside the story now.
What, the one currently on Steve's ebook reader?
Yeah, there it is. Scrolling away by itself. What's it saying, Howard?
The literary agent looked around as though dazed. From the scowl he threw them, he appeared to have some private quarrel with the two bedraggled gentlemen who had preceded him down the chimney, but the details remained a mystery. Ooh, this prose, wow, it's a little much.
Says Mr. Cyclopean 1928.
Oh, wow. That sounds so cool. I want to go.
No, Dean. It's dangerous. Dean?
Here I go.
Oh, crap. Now we've lost Dean, too.
No sooner had Mr. Doyle stepped away from the grate than with a rumble of falling tiles, yet another figure landed in the hearth.
Ow.
The newcomer bounded to his feet with the energy of a Labrador puppy, looked at Watson with eyes of childlike wonder, and exclaimed,
Oh my gosh. It's Bilbo Baggins.
Dean, we've been over this before. Martin Freeman is not Bilbo Baggins. And not everybody is Martin Freeman.
That's Dr. Watson, Dean. And the guy with the deer stalker and the funny little pipe, you know him, that's...
Sherlock Holmes.
The same? To what do I owe this bemusement?
I'm your biggest fan, Mr. Holmes. I've got a pipe just like that. Only mine blows bubbles. And I've read all the stories you ever wrote.
No, I wrote those stories.
No, I wrote the stories.
Yes, but I wrote you writing them.
As I suspected.
Who said that?
Oh, geez, it was the corpse.
You stay out of this, Lord Corstafine. You're dead.
Wait, that's not Lord Corstorphine. That's...
Professor Moriarty.
Indeed, it is I.
Oh no, he's the bad guy.
Yes, Dean, we know.
Moriarty. The Napoleon of crime.
The Charlemagne of chicanery.
The Mussolini of misdemeanors.
The Batman of badness.
Right. You know, I think I'll just stick with Napoleon of crime.
One moment. I really wasn't sure you'd fall for the old fake knife handle trick, Holmes.
But why?
To bring him here.
A bit elaborate, isn't it? Why not just have me abducted outside the hats and pipes shop? Or send me a message encoded in stick figures? Or post a fake job advertisement from a pretend secret society of redheads?
No. This may come as a shock, Sherlock Holmes, but not everything is about you. Anyway, I can find you at a moment's notice. I have eyes on you at all times. That's the man I wanted to summon.
Me?
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle himself.
But why me exactly?
You're the author, aren't you?
No, of course. He's Watson's literary agent. This has been established.
Really? What agency do you work for?
Pete's literary agency on, Pete Street.
You can't name a single literary agency. He clearly is an author.
But not just an author. The author.
The author of what?
Why, the world we live in. It's all a simulation, of course.
Oh, for goodness sake, he's one of those guys.
Oh, no, I read an article about that in Scientific American. The evidence is actually pretty compelling if you ignore a bunch of things. Like, do you remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison?
No.
Neither do I. He was released and became president. It was kind of a big deal. But there's a bunch of guys, real smart guys, that don't remember it that way. And the Berenstain Bears, you read those stories?
No.
I did.
Right, me neither. But these guys would swear it was Berenstein with an E.
Okay, now it's a party. Excuse me coming down your shaft like that, Sherlock, but get it? Shaft? I'm talking about dicks. This guy here gets it.
What?
The chimney pipe of Corstorphine Manor seems to be quite the thoroughfare at present. Who are you?
Probably one of the good doctor's collaborators.
Steve, that whole little Rocco's modern basilisk time cube theory of yours is cute, but I gotta tell you, the fact that a bunch of rich, and I'm gonna take a wild guess here, white tech dorks don't know how to spell is really not good evidence that we're living in a computer.
And you walked into my Kindle to tell me that.
Okay, interesting point.
Not a computer, whatever that is. A novel. Or, more likely, a long series of short stories. Don't tell me you haven't noticed the clues, Holmes. Little changes in reality from day to day. Minor details, names, dates, places, constantly shifting. The author can't keep them in his memory. Dr. Watson, when you were wounded out of military service, were you shot in the leg or the shoulder?
Oh, that was my fault.
Well, yes, because he misedited Watson's manuscript when he was doing literary agent stuff. Didn't you, Arthur?
Sure.
I remember it both ways. I was struck on the shoulder by a Giselle bullet which shattered the bone and grazed the subclavian artery. And in the back of the leg. In cold weather, it throbs with dull persistence.
Clive.
So you were shot twice? Inexperienced as I may be in military service, I understand it is customary for more than one bullet to be fired during the course of a war.
No, I was only shot once. Look at this.
Why is Bilbo taking his clothes off?
It's a thing grown-ups do sometimes.
Look at my shoulders, Holmes.
Watson, this is not the time.
So you guys have a time.
There's no bullet wound. It was there this morning.
Yes, I remember it graphically. Good heavens, you're right, it's completely healed.
Not healed, Holmes. Look. Right on my calf.
Edgar.
There.
While they're distracted, I'm gonna make a run for it. Find Lestrade.
Go on, give it a feel.
Right. Good idea.
There?
But you gotta come with me.
Up a bit.
Because you're still handcuffed to me.
Oh. Right.
Get your magnifying glass if you need it.
Okay, now this is getting interesting.
Yes.
This game's really afoot.
Further. To the right.
Clive.
What?
Edgar and I are going for help. Take care of Dean, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
There?
Yes, there it is.
There it is indeed. A scar consistent with the entry wound of a Giselle bullet. But it's pulsing. It's shifting. It's about to... It's gone.
It's back on my shoulder. Look.
You see? Rifts in our reality. As though we're drifting in and out of slightly different universes. That's not a bullet hole. It's a plot hole. The author can't keep track.
I can keep track just fine. I just don't always bother. Why does it matter where he was shot?
It matters to me.
You don't exist.
Ah, you admit it. Don't worry. I've always known that I was different, better, and now I know why. Because the world as we know it is just the pages of a long-running book series. The Adventures of Professor James Moriarty.
Oh, nonsense.
No.
No?
James.
No. It's actually the adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Huh.
Sorry.
I knew it.
James Moriarty.
Then, if I'm not the hero, who am I? An NPC?
Well, no. You're
You're the bad guy. Bad guy.
Dean.
James Moriarty.
Is it true? Is it true? Is it true?
Yes, but you're not just the bad guy. You're the bad guy, eh? The most iconic supervillain in literature. Is that not right, everyone?
Oh, definitely. Real iconic.
I don't know. Skeletor is...
Dean.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Totally worse than Skeletor.
James Moriarty!
Meanwhile, Stephen King and Edgar Allan Poe were attempting to tame that most unpredictable of beasts, the bicycle.
Ow!
That time we nearly had it.
No, we didn't. Steve, it's not possible for two men handcuffed together to ride a penny farthing bicycle along a wet, cobbled street.
Well, not with that attitude. Come on, why don't you take the left pedal this time?
Because then we'd be facing backwards.
Not if we cross our arms over like
Ow!
this.
We've got the wrong hands on the handlebar.
What's worth a try, isn't it?
All right, one more try, and then we're walking. If God wanted us to have wheels, he'd put them on us himself.
I don't know what you're afraid of, Edgar. It's just a ordinary bicycle.
Are you going to explain that joke again?
Because prior to the development of the chain-driven or safety bicycle in the 1890s, the penny farthing or high wheel type bicycle was also known as an ordinary bicycle.
Yes, you've said that every time it's dumped our asses on the cobbles. Which, if the bruises on my ass are anything to go by, is quite a number of times.
I'm sorry. You know I'm just a joker sometimes. You know I love jokes. If it's such a problem, I'll stop.
Thank you.
And I promise that I will not do it again.
Steve!
Whoa, Edgar, calm down. Gosh. I mean, I thought it was funny.
I'll get you! And that damn bicycle too!
Yeah, I got the bike. You want to smash it?
I swear I'm going to dismantle it and seal it up in a wall! See if I don't!
Yeah? Come get it. Come on, build up speed.
You! Hey, what are you doing, Steve?
Hey. I'm riding a penny farthing all by myself.
You're dragging me! Ow! Ah!
Well, I got it moving tonight.
You Yankee bastard!
I told you it'd be easier once we're over the crest of the hill.
Ow! Can't you slow down?
No, the caliper brake won't be invented for another 4 years.
Ow! Ow!
Oi! Pull over!
Who said that?
The police officer on the... Ow! On the bicycle behind us! Ow! Ow! Ow!
Pull over and put your hands on the handlebars.
How do you do that exactly?
Steve, that cop's gonna... Ow! Fishtail us! Ow!
Gotcha.
God damn it!
Do you have any idea how fast you was going?
You know, Werner Heisenberg once asked me the same thing. I said no, but I know exactly where I am.
What?
Please do excuse my friend. He's terminally unfunny. Do you know an Inspector Lestrade?
I am Inspector Lestrade.
Just the person Sherlock Holmes sent us.
Oh, Course he did.
James? James Moriarty! You're James!
Calm down, Doctor.
Shut it, James!
Watson, put down the revolver.
You can shut it and all!
Watson, it's a coincidence. I just wrote your name wrong. Don't you remember having both names? Doesn't it shift like the bullet wound?
No! I'm John H. Watson. Always have been.
Hey, Clive, Dean, we're back. What did we miss?
Well, when Holmes and Watson were done exploring each other's bodies, we found our James. Watson is really not taking the news well. Also, Jesus, Edgar, you look like shit. What happened to you?
Oh my God, Clive, I got to ride the coolest bike ever.
A Raleigh chopper?
No, a penny farthing. I'll tell you all about it right now. It was first patented in 1869 by... Oh, cripes, Watson, what are you doing?
He's James? Professor James Moriarty. It was him all along?
Oh, that. Hey, no, you ever consider that your wife was just calling you by the anglicized version of your middle name?
What?
It's Hamish, right? Scottish for James.
No, the H stands for fucking...
Hieronymus.
I've never told anyone that.
Except her.
You bastard!
Sherlock Holmes, why'd you send this pair of plonkers after me? Gordon Bennett, what's all this?
Oh, a certain doctor seems to have solved a certain mystery. At last.
Doctor, I shall have to ask you to put the revolver down. And your trousers back on.
Shut up, Lestrade.
You're not being rational, Watson.
Damn right. And you, James? What did you do with her?
Oh, lots.
You know what I mean. Why did you kill her?
Kill her? My good doctor, you overestimate me. Yes, we were bonking. She was passing me information about you and that drug-addled snitch who orders you around. But her death... I was as heartbroken as you, Doctor. Natural causes, I'm afraid.
Don't give me that bollocks. I'm a trained physician. She was a healthy woman in her 30s. They don't just drop dead.
They do, John. Sometimes people just die, and there's nothing you or any doctor could have done.
No. She couldn't have just died. She was taken from me. It has to be somebody's fault.
No, not always.
Terrible things happen to good people every day, John.
Lower the revolver, Watson.
Yeah.
There. There's a good chap.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Now we'll go back to Baker Street and pretend none of this happened.
Yes. We'll go back to Baker Street and carry on as we always have.
Come on. Oh, I almost forgot. Lestrade, this is Professor James Moriarty. Arrest him, please.
What for?
Well, he's the Napoleon of crime.
That's right.
What's he done?
What do you mean, what's he done? It's Professor Moriarty. He's a supervillain.
I am a supervillain. The supervillain. Arrest me at once, Inspector.
Yeah, but what do you actually do? Like, what crimes?
Well, there was that time when he did that crime.
He fucked my wife.
That's not technically illegal, Doctor. Or...
Just
wait.
Look at his forehead. He's got the supraorbital ridges of a criminal mastermind.
Yeah, frowned upon, but not technically illegal.
Henchman?
I'm sorry, Professor. I can't arrest you for being a supervillain if you can't name a single crime what you have committed.
This is a disgrace.
He still might have murdered Watson's wife.
No, he didn't. That one's on me.
You know, if I were looking for someone to blame for the death of Mrs. Watson, I'd be looking a little closer to home.
What?
What?
5 years ago, Holmes apparently died, and you married. An elegant, if bittersweet conclusion to your adventures together. 3 years pass. Sherlock Holmes, who, let us not forget, knows all about weapons, poisons, The right kind of snake to slip down a bell pool? Really, one of the world's foremost experts on ingenious murder techniques shows up again in London, demanding the return of his, sidekick.
Watson, don't listen to him.
You can't mean...
Within a month of your wife abruptly dropping dead from cause or causes unknown.
Holmes?
Watson?
You couldn't. Could you?
You know he could. I can assure you she was perfectly healthy just a few days earlier. Am I free to go, Inspector?
Yeah? So am I, since there doesn't seem to be any real crime scene here. Love nights like these really makes my job easier. Night all.
And I'd better get back to my supervillainy, which apparently doesn't consist of doing very much. I suppose there are worse characters to be. Watson, good night.
Holmes, is it true?
No.
My wife, Sherlock! The one person in the world who mattered more to me than you. You were always jealous. You couldn't stand being less important than another human being.
Watson!
I loved you.
Watson, no!
Cried the literary agent. Watson looked Sherlock Holmes in his cold, unemotional eyes, then steadying his trembling hand, raised the revolver and...
Whoa, wait a second.
What? It's just getting to the climax.
If Sherlock dies, the book ends. And if Clive and Dean and the others are there when it ends, what happens to them?
Oh, no. What do we do?
Well, obviously, I gotta go in. Someone's gotta clean up after those nerds.
Can I come?
You just stay here and read. Whatever happens, you keep reading.
Goodbye, Sherlock.
Stop!
Mary?
Mary!
Why are you dressed like that?
Ugh, what the hell is this?
It's called white.
Is this a fucking bum roll? I look like a Dickens heroine.
Wow. You know what that's like? It's like the holodeck in Star Trek. I bet because she just walked in, instead of falling down the chimney, the simulation must have registered her as not Mary Shelley, but as the Mary who appeared in these books. That's exactly what happened in TNG episode Season 8, Episode 6, The Proctivonish Gambit.
Speaking of Mary, how did you just walk in?
I do what I want.
I thought you were dead.
Oh, criminy. I am. But Sherlock didn't kill me. No one did. Nice people die, John. They're not always murdered by a supervillain with a snake on a string or some illegitimate heir with a phosphorus-coated dog. Sometimes life just fucking sucks. Sherlock's not a murderer. He's a dickhead.
Excuse me?
I just saved you from getting shot, so shut the fuck up, Sherlock.
You told Sherlock Holmes to shut the fuck up.
Of course I did. What else can you do? Reason with him. This fucker's impossible. And you know what to do with the impossible.
Yes, I think I do.
Come on, you lot. These two have got some CDs to split up or whatever.
Mary, don't leave me again.
I'm already gone. See you, James.
The end. Here's your ebook reader back, Steve.
Thanks. Mary, you saved us all. Without even drawing your knife, that's a first.
You split up Sherlock Holmes and Watson. That's an ending. I'm finally free.
I gotta admit, that was beautiful, girl.
I'd just like to say, on behalf of the Midnight Society, that...
Any of you ever tell anyone about this, you're fucking dead.
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals, starred Rodrigo Borges as Edgar Allan Poe, Jason Robinson as Stephen King, Rebecca D'Souza as Mary Shelley, Sister Indica as Clive Barker, RODRIGO Montgomery as Dean Koontz, and Robin Johnson as H.P. Lovecraft and Arthur Conan Doyle, with Lou Sutcliffe as Sherlock Holmes, CANAVAN Connolly as Dr. Watson, Joel A.S. Butler as Professor Moriarty and Ian Fleming, Lascelles Nicolavian as Inspector Lestrade, Nomi Ibsen as the radio announcer, and Dexter Howard as Raymond Chandler. The script was written by Robin Johnson and edited by Bitter Corella, based on the Sherlock Holmes stories by Arthur Conan Doyle. The music was by Robin Johnson. The episode was directed and produced by Robin Johnson. Daisy McNamara was an audio consultant. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals is created by Bitter Corella. All characters are fictitious, especially the real ones. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Find Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Pals at midnightpals.com.
Meanwhile, at the Bloodhound Gang's secret campfire, Raymond Chandler and Ian Fleming are discussing a yarn wherein Philip Marlowe meets danger in the form of a beautiful lady.
And then Philip Marlowe punches out the mook and grabs the briefcase full of cash, see? And then...
Then what, Ray? Don't keep us in suspense.
I was just getting to that, Ian. Hey, I've got a writing tip for you guys. Whenever you're stuck for an idea, have a guy come through the door with a gun in his hand.
Interesting. Maybe I'll use that in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I know, right? So Philip Marlowe grabs the briefcase, and then a guy comes through the door with a gun in his hand. And then, another guy